friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. We are back in the kitchen today doing some more food preservation. I have a big goal this year to stop purchasing chicken broth and chicken stock. I use it all the time, almost daily, if not maybe just every other day, just in various meals and soups and stuff like that. And if I can stop purchasing it, that would save us a lot of money. I started noticing that when I switched to cooking a 10-pound bag of chicken leg quarters in my crock pot overnight, and then I would take that out the next day and shred it up, and that would be what I would feed my children, along with some fresh veggies and some kind of dip and like a cheese stick, and that would be like their lunches with maybe with a little barbecue sauce mixed on. Anyway, I started noticing that there's a lot of liquid that accumulates in that, and if I would just take a few extra steps to turn that into chicken stock, then I could can it. And it's something that's already being done in my normal routine anyway, so I'm biting the bullet and I'm getting it done. So yesterday morning, I put a 10-pound bag of chicken leg quarters in this crock pot. I cooked it on low all day long, no water. I didn't even put any water in there. When you're working with 10 pounds of chicken, it creates a lot of juice. So no water, no seasonings, no nothing. Just dump the bag straight into the crock pot yesterday morning. I turned it on low and it cooked all day long. That night before I went to bed, I separated the chicken from the bones, and I put the chicken in the fridge, and I put the bones back in the crock pot. And then to that, I just added 4 carrots chopped, about a half a cup of dehydrated shredded celery, about 2 tablespoons of parsley, and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. That vinegar just helps pull out the nutrients from the bones and helps make your chicken stock even richer. And I just let that cook overnight, and then the next morning, which is today, I strained that out. Let me move this so I can show y'all. Okay, so into this bowl, I just put a strainer and I poured the contents of the crock pot into this bowl through that strainer for a first rinse. Now we still have tiny particles of chicken and probably bone and maybe even some celery or vegetables or something, so I need to do a second filter, and that's what I'm going to do here. I have a half-gallon jar with just a little tea strainer at the top, and I'm going to put just a little piece of cheesecloth. If you haven't used cheesecloth before, it's reusable, so you can purchase it. It's pretty cheap, and you can just wash it after every use and reuse it over and over again. And I'm just going to put it in the tea strainer like that, and that's just going to give me an extra layer and ability to filter stuff out. Now I'm going to try and pour this in here without spilling it, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, here we go. And I know from doing this last time, I'm probably going to have to stop and scoop out some of the contents that is getting trapped in that cheesecloth, which will block my liquid from going through. Okay. So as you can see, I am full on this cup, so I'm just going to go ahead and dump this out because I am collecting a lot of little tidbits in there that's kind of clogging up that cheesecloth. So I'm going to dump this out real quick, and then I'm going to get another jar and continue that process. Okay, I've got a new jar here, and I'm just going to continue that process of filtering out some more of that chicken and veggies and bones. And hopefully it'll all fit in this quart jar. Ooh, I just barely made it. Okay, let's take this out. Okay, so here we are. We have a half-gallon and a quart. The next step, I'm going to put a lid on this one, and then these are going to go in the refrigerator. And what will happen is the fat is going to separate and solidify at the top, and that's going to make it really easy to scoop out, because if you're canning it, you need to scoop out that fat. If you're not going to be canning it, you can leave that fat in, and that'll just add more flavor to your meals. But this is going to go in the refrigerator, and it might be ready tonight. It's about noon right now, but more than likely I will have to do this tomorrow morning. But at least 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours, that fat's going to separate, it's going to solidify, and then we will be back at that point and show you what to do next. Good morning. It is the next day. I just took our chicken broth out of the fridge, and as you can see, the fat has separated and solidified at the top. So the next step is to scoop that out. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Just going to scoop all this out into here. my fat is kind of has a little slight green tinge to it, but that's just because I put a lot of celery in it and parsley, and it kind of gave it that green tint to it. But that's not green like bad, it's just color from the celery spices. Okay, I'm not worried about getting every single little flake. I have done my best to get as much as I can without spending an hour on it, and that's okay if there's a little bit left. So I'm going to do the same thing to this jar. This one just has a really thin layer on top. Much easier to get out. Yep, okay. So 2 things that I do with this fat, we just want to let nothing go to waste. So sometimes we have an outside dog who kind of acts as like a guard dog for our chickens. And sometimes we like to give him a little treat, and we'll dab some of this chicken fat on top of his regular food. But also I will put these in a silicone ice cube tray that you can push the bottom out and it goes easily pops out. And I will store those as little single serving size of fat to use when I'm cooking up a pot of beans or when I'm making a soup or something like that and want to add that richness. So I'm just going to set this aside, and I'll do that after I'm done with this. So the next step is just to pour our broth back into a pot, and we're going to bring it up to a boil. Okay, lid on, high heat, and we're going to bring that up to a boil, and then it's going to go into our jars. Okay, our chicken broth has come up to a boil. If you are going to be using a traditional pressure canner on your stovetop, then you will need to go ahead and warm up your jars while your broth is coming up to heat. And I have a glass stovetop that is not rated, excuse me, that is not rated to handle the weight of a loaded pressure canner. So I have to use this digital pressure canner, but that's okay. I absolutely love it. It has a built-in jar warming feature, so I went ahead and had my jars warming up while my broth was warmed up. I also have a little pot over here of warm water or hot water for my lids. Since we are pressure canning for 25 minutes, and if you're pressure canning longer than 10 minutes, you don't have to sterilize your jars or lids, but you do need to start with hot and clean jars and lids. Also, some of the newest information that we've gotten from the National Center for Food Preservation is that we don't have to boil or heat up our lids anymore. In fact, some recommend not to, like, go against heating them up. But I have been having a lot of lid failures, seal failures lately. So I have gone back to heating up my lids, and now I'm enjoying that 95 to 100% success rate on getting jars to seal. So if you're struggling with that, you might want to try going back to heating up your lids if you have moved away from that. Okay, so I'm going to take my hot jars out, and I had to put water in them because that's what this canner instructions say, so I need to dump that out real quick. If you're using a traditional pressure canner, you're just going to take your hot jars out of your pot, set them on the counter, and get ready to load them. Okay, we're ready to load our jars. All we need is a funnel, a debubble tool, and a wet rag for wiping the rims. I'm going to take the lid off of this broth. It is extremely hot. Okay, so at this point we are just going to fill up our jars to leaving a 1-inch headspace, which is this bottom ring on the jar. A lot of debubble tools also have measurements on them. Mine does. So if you want to be a little more precise, you can get one of those with the 1-inch measurement on it. Okay, and just to show you a close-up of what that looks like, actually it's going to be too hot to hold, but if you want to use a measurement tool, then you would just stick the edge of this notch right here, stick it right there on the edge of your rims, and I can see that I could actually go a little bit higher to get that exact 1-inch mark. You can also just go by this little ring right here, I am a little bit low, so I'm going to add a tiny bit more. Okay, that should do it. Now we're just going to go ahead and debubble. There should not be any bubbles in this as it's just straight liquid, but just as a rule of thumb, we always want to debubble just to get ourselves in that habit so that we don't ever forget, because in other recipes it is extremely important. I'm just going to take my wet rag and wipe the rims. Okay, wipe that rim good. I'm going to get a hot ring or a hot lid out of here. My voice hasn't woken up yet this morning. And then we're going to put our lid on finger tight. And what that means is we're going to screw it down until we start feeling resistance, and then just do a quarter turn more. One more quarter turn. And then we're going to load that into our canner. Easy peasy. Okay, so I've just finished pouring my jars, and I only got 2 full quarts. That was my fault. I spilled some. But what do you do if you don't have a full quart and if you don't have a full load for your canner? So you have 2 options for this not full jar. You can just stick it in your fridge and use it in a few days, or you can pour boiling water into it to get your 1-inch headspace if you don't mind your chicken broth being a little bit watered down. You can, it's just a matter of flavor. It's not a safety issue to add boiling water, but it can alter the flavor, and when you're going through all of that process of making homemade chicken broth, you really want the highest quality possible. I use chicken broth all the time, so I'm just gonna put this in the fridge and use it for a meal in the next day or so. Now, about the not full canner, for safety reasons, you want to run your pressure canner on a full load. That means you want as many jars as your canner will hold. I only have 2 jars of broth, and my canner holds 4 quarts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill 2 more jars, quart jars, with hot water to fill my canner, and then I will have sealed clean water to use in case of emergencies. And I do this all the time, and over time I just build up clean jars of water, and they really come in handy. In fact, we just recently had an emergency in our area. Actually, our town was just declared a natural disaster zone because of this ice storm that just came through. There are still, most of our town still doesn't have power almost a week and a half later. We have power, obviously, praise the Lord for that, but there's still a lot of people in our town that are hurting. We were without power for about 3 days, and having drinkable water on hand that you know for sure is clean and safe without having to boil it like over a fire because you don't have an electricity, it just really comes in handy. So it's not a failure or not all is lost type situation if you don't have a full canner. Just pop some water in there and you have some clean water on the shelf. I also heard it said recently that an empty can of water holds just as much, or a jar of water takes up just as much space on the shelf as an empty jar. So why store an empty jar on your shelf when you can just add water to it? It's taking up the same amount of space and you're not having to use any extra time to fill it. So let me get 2 more quart jars filled and then we'll get the canner going. Okay, I've got my jars all loaded in, and at this point you're ready to can. For chicken broth and chicken stock, it's 25 minutes for quart sizes. And if you are using a traditional pressure canner, you'll need to look up your elevation to see how many pounds of pressure you need to do that with. With this digital canner, the pounds of pressure is built in and taken care of with sensors and stuff inside this canner. So I'm just going to lock it, fold this lock down and click next, and it's going to start the process. If you are interested in learning how to use this exact canner, we have a video on canning shredded chicken that I'll link above, and in that video I walk you through step by step all the steps involved with this particular canner. But just to recap, canning chicken broth, chicken stock, you need a 1-inch headspace, and you're going to can quarts at 25 minutes. Look up your elevation to figure out your pressure. Your 10 pounds of pressure or 15 pounds of pressure, whatever. Look up that for your elevation in your area. Okay, if y'all are interested in learning that, check out that canning chicken video, and we'll see you next time.